G'day Pickleball family. First thing to know as I start sharing my screen here with you. Moving first to an excellent article from NML Pickleball on an opinion piece on the winners and losers of the latest Tour Wars battle between the PPA and the MLP. The article, let's go through it together. As the player signing announcements to continue to trickle in as part of the latest Players Get Paid edition of the Tour Wars, there has finally been some time to breathe and reflect on the aftermath of an unprecedented influx of cash in the hands of pickleball players. As we've stated in a previous column, we think the war is far from over, but there are inevitably winners and losers following this chapter of our story, so we decided to recap them. First winner is Team Pickleball. The consensus from casual and hardcore observers of Pro Pickleball is that MLP came out ahead in this round against the PPA. The signings of the Johnson Five solidified MLP's status as an organisation that included the significant majority of the top talent in Pro Pickleball. While the PPA retained a few of the bigger names outside of Annalee Waters and Ben Johns, most notably the recently tennis-retired Jack Sock, the biggest concern of the PPA side of things will be how little competition the two top players in the world will face and what that means for their product going forward. The choice by so many players to sign with the MLP means that team-based pickleball is here to stay for the foreseeable future. Rob Nunnery has probably been the biggest proponent of the Pro Pickleball needs to be a team sport bandwagon, and it looks like we'll get to see if that's true. MLP's road to get here hasn't been without some hurdles, including toying with the idea of going with primarily individual events last fall, but with fans of the two biggest sports in North America, two biggest individual sports rather, golf and tennis, primarily focused around the four major tournaments in a calendar year, MLP's team concept provides an opportunity for more of a year-long focus with all the storylines that come along with team sports. We've always been two people generally unsure of the prospect of pickleball as a pro sport that's viable as something similar to Major League Soccer in the US. As likely as it is that pro pickleball becomes the next pro beach volleyball or pro lacrosse, there's also an outside chance that it could sneak into the conversation of where MLS is currently. MLP has separated itself from the PPA and APP as an event that offers unmatched energy and excitement, along with unique storylines that only come from trying to construct a team around an individual-based sport. Interestingly, it sounds like MLP will have an even or close to even mix of team and individual events in 2024. With that in mind, it's unknown if that MLP energy is sustainable over the course of an entire year. Although NFL's shorter regular season, consisting of 17 games, allows football to maintain the high-stakes energy for a full season, the grind of the long MLB, NBA, and NHL regular seasons are often an afterthought for a lot of casual fans of those sports. Whether an entire calendar year of team-based pro pickleball is the way to go, it appears that we'll have the opportunity to see if MLP can operate as a full-service tour. That opportunity in itself is a major win for the idea of team-based pro pickleball. A loser PPA trust, with so much of the top talent in the game opting to sign with the MLP over the PPA, often for 30 to 50% less money than what was offered by the PPA, according to Florida Smash Part owner Graham D'Amico, the lack of trust players had with the PPA became abundantly clear. Even though most pros haven't come out publicly with their negative feelings towards the PPA, the way Zane Navratil has, players who have stated anything publicly about the situation have been quick to acknowledge the level of trust they have for MLP and the relationships they have there. When the PPA was first purchased by Tom Dundon at the start of 22, they were undoubtedly the leader in the sport from a player relationships standpoint. Connor Pardo had forged good relationships, especially with top players. Those relationships and the perception from players that they wanted to be part of the Premier Tour in Pro Pickleball helped propel them to sign the majority of top talent at that time to exclusive deals. However, the way the PPA initially went about signing players 2 exclusive deals during the Dundon takeover was likely the real start of the lack of trust that permeated the pro ranks over the past couple of weeks. The PPA has never been shy about using high-pressure tactics to sway players into choosing them over their competitors, and by all accounts, that strategy reached a breaking point with players during the negotiations once MLP announced they had already signed players for 2024. There's a laundry list of items over the years one can point to as potential factors that may have led to mistrust amongst the player pool, failing to distinguish between prize pools and appearance fees, preferential treatment to certain players, questionable draws, paddle testing transparency, not paying players, contractors and vendors on time or sometimes not at all, and withdrawing offers made to players who lost leverage. Players don't forget things like being led to believe they would be able to play MLP prior to signing exclusive contracts back at the start of 2022. Tyson McGuffin was the first player to publicly express his discontent with not being able to play in MLP last year, and you have to wonder how he felt about the PPA, despite generally being treated very well on the whole. Right or wrong, the sentiment that we can infer from those players who went to MLP was not only were they unsure of aligning themselves for 3 years with an organisation they trusted significantly less, but also they didn't know the hefty contracts being offered would be honoured. It's really straightforward when J.W. Johnson and Dylan Fraser are reportedly leaving literally millions of dollars on the table. The way the PPA handled the feeling of being backed into a corner in this round of negotiations doesn't appear to have assisted in alleviating player concerns. The same high-pressure tactics used in the past were less effective in circumstances where the PPA was in desperation mode without as much leverage. The PPA announcing Riley Newman as a signed PPA player before actually being signed was the most embarrassing public misstep on the PPA's side of things. However, the Newman situation is only one public instance that highlights the PPA's general approach that players may have been getting tired of. An excellent article that continues, very well written, and I highly suggest you go and check it out if you'd like to know more. Second thing to know, and if you're finding any of this helpful, please be sure to dink that like button. Pickleballunion.com reporting Eugenie Bouchard to transition to professional pickleball. The PPA Tour has announced that former top 5 WTA player Eugenie Bouchard will transition from tennis to pro pickleball, one of the biggest signings of the year. Bouchard is set to make her debut in the pro pickleball circuit in the upcoming 24 season. Despite reaching the ladies singles final at Wimbledon in 2014, she was handed a decisive defeat, I should say, by Petra Kvitova. The PPA has labelled this move one of the biggest signings of the year. The impact on Bouchard's tennis career remains uncertain, as she hasn't yet commented on the transition. Currently ranked number 215, her most recent attempt to qualify for the main draw of the US Open ended in the second round of qualifying. Her last Grand Slam main draw appearance was at the 2020 French Open. The pinnacle of Bouchard's career was in 2014 when, apart from her Wimbledon final appearance, she secured her sole WTA title at the Nuremberg Cup. She also achieved a career high ranking of number 5 and reached the semi-finals or better in 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams. Since then, she reached more WTA finals, but her career has been marked by persistent struggles with form, losing streaks, and a series of injuries, including a surgical procedure on her right shoulder. Reclaiming her position at the top of tennis has been a formidable challenge following these setbacks, and it appears she may have relinquished her aspirations of a comeback. Bouchard was once anticipated to be one of the premier figures in women's tennis, achieving notable success both on and off the court. Her semi-final appearance at the Aussie Open and the French Open in 2014, along with reaching the 4th round at the US Open in 2014 and 2015, sparked a significant surge of interest in the Canadian star. Her early career saw her garner numerous sponsors due to her marketability. However, in recent years, she has grappled with fitness issues. Despite the Wimbledon Junior Champion being champion in 2012, her ranking has slipped to a point where she has opted to join the increasingly pro pickleball world tour next year. The announcement was made via PPA social media, hailing Bouchard as their most significant signing to date. With one of the biggest signings of the year, Jeannie Bouchard, professional tennis star with a WTA number 5 career high in singles, joins the PPA Tour in 2024, the tweet mentioned. At 29 years of age, Bouchard's transition will undoubtedly be felt in the world of tennis, even though her recent performances on the WTA Tour haven't been standout. She fell short of making this year's US Open and faced difficulties in qualifying for most of the events she participated in this year. Despite her on-court challenges, she maintains a substantial social media following, hosting over 2.4 million followers on Instagram. Although the statement confirming her move to pickleball indicated a full-time commitment, Bouchard has not yet clarified whether she'll also continue to compete in tennis next year. While she has refrained from making any official statements about this sporting shift, she did share the pickleball announcement on her social media platforms when the deal was announced. Third thing to know, staying on the pickleballunion.com, the City of Seattle is to host a Pickleball for All tournament. The City of Seattle, the Seattle Parks Foundation, Amazon, and other community partners will host the Pickleball for All tournament as part of Mayor Bruce Harrell's Downtown Activation Plan, DAP, next weekend. Another downtown event, the Seattle Slam Showdown Youth Basketball Tournament, was held last weekend. The mayor said last week these weekends will demonstrate in downtown how sports create friends, memory, skill, and a sense of belonging. Building on the feel-good factor the tournament should generate, the Seattle Department of Transportation, SDOT, and the Seattle Parks and Recreation, SPR, are set to introduce a new permanent pickleball court at the Taylor and Fifth Avenue Plaza, as reported by the official online platform of the Seattle Mayor. This transformed plaza will function as a pickleball court, accessible 7 days a week, operating on a first-come, first-served basis. In 2024, the SDOT is slated to allocate nearly $500,000 towards further enhancing the plaza with landscaping and seating arrangements. The mayor adds, the people have a passion for pickleball, and with this new court, we will seek to capture energy and enthusiasm inspired by the nation's fastest growing sport as part of our ongoing efforts to foster a more vibrant, dynamic, and engaging downtown. Fourth and final thing to know, staying on the pickleballunion.com, Tampa is to host a 3-day pop-up pickleball showdown. Tampa seems to have started a love affair with pickleball. Midtown Tampa has announced that Pop Rally Pickleball will be hosting pop-up pickleball showdowns from September 22 through 24 on the 6th floor of the Waterview parking garage. The Tampa Pickleball crew is set to unveil a new membership-based indoor pickleball facility in the Gasworks development located in Ybor City. The city is also in the process of adding a multitude of pickleball courts across various locations. Pop Rally is described as a wellness-focused community in the heart of Tampa Bay, united in creating a better life for all. And that's so Tampa says its guiding motto is pick up a paddle and start having fun. For those interested, stay up to date, don't miss out. The Tampa Pickleball crew is spearheading the surge, founded by Susan Forsyth, Jen Plummer, Dean Wilson, and Kayla Goldman, spearheading the surge of pickleball in Tampa. They have announced the opening of a substantial pickleball facility in Ybor City inside a warehouse owned by Gasworks developer Daryl Shaw. This 28,000 warehouse on 2nd Avenue will boast at least 7 pickleball courts. While an official opening date for the indoor courts is still pending, it's expected to be announced soon. The founders expressed in a joint statement, the crew understands what it's like trying to find available courts and what it's like to play in the Florida weather. So we're converting a 28,000 square foot warehouse into pickleball courts for us to play all together. The crew has recently introduced membership opportunities, offering founding members access to promotional pricing, VIP events, the ability to pre-book corps, and to open play conveniently via an app. All skill levels are welcome. Paddles up.